Hello people, welcome to this small demonstration of using generative AI to create management reports based on the raw financial data. So let's get into it quickly. That's my code. I have published this online. You can download from my GitHub and let's run it for now. I will in the meantime explain as the code is running. So the easiest first is that, as you can see here, my graphics card usage has spiked almost full. I'm using RTX 3090. It's quite powerful graphics card having 24 gigs of VRAM, and the model I'm using right now is using 16 gigs. If you use larger models, it will of course use more memory, and then if you use super large model, then you are stuck with a smaller graphics card, and that's why the whole hype of NVIDIA graphics card come into play. So anyways, in the meantime, this model is running. Let me explain what's happening. So first of all, we have got this Excel file here. So Excel is nothing, just the flat data as you can see. Just a flat file having 6 columns. 2 columns are for names and other 4 columns are for the amounts. And in the first row, I've got headers. So 24, 25, 23, and 22. I put 25 in the middle just to just to see if I can uh, slice and dice the code, or I mean the numbers correctly. But anyways, so that's the flat data, nothing fancy in there. So what my script is doing is taking this Excel file or the raw data, and then it is passing it on to pandas for slicing and dicing and cleaning and preparing. And then there's one more library called matplot. This is used commonly in data science to create visualizations like charts and all that. And once this step is complete, it is passed on to my locally running LLM, or like you can say ChatGPT. So it's running locally on my PC using Olama and as a backend, and I'm using webUI as a front end. So what I mean by this, I mean this. So there's the model running, that's the backend. And if you say front end, you can see here, this is almost like same as ChatGPT. Oops. Okay, and then I've got, and it will take a while because my graphics card is small, but you can see here I've got a bunch of models there. Now let's go to my code. I think it is done here. So let's see. Okay, so I've got output. Now this is the output done by the code, and here I've got the visualizations. We don't need to see that actually. All we need to see is this Word file. So if I open it, that's the report created by this setup. So as you can see, that's the report. So I've got annual review of data by property, and then some observations, trend analysis, then some conclusion. The contributor to revenue in 25 is basically revenue concentration. And then I've got more details by tenants by property. So if this, for example, LLM analyzed the by property, it gave me some large tenants, and then distribution, some commentary, who's doing what, all this stuff actually. So this is about 28. You can see actually at the bottom of my screen. This is about 28 pages. It's quite detailed actually. So that's the outcome of the whole setup. So basically, this is what is happening. All right. Now, if you want to run this code, there are a few things that you need to keep in your mind. First of all, download from my link there. You will need to use git command to download, or you can basically download from the code and then go to zip. All right. So once you download, you will need to do some environment setups. Of course, you need to have Python installed. You need to have Olama installed so you can run the LLM locally. And then you need, if you want, you need to have, basically you should do it actually. So you need to have this interface here that you just saw. So, okay. That's the basic setup. I have done all the detailed like step-by-step instructions. Very, very simple. Should be able to do it. Otherwise, feel free to ask. But before I sign off, a few things. Number one, I experimented with a couple of models. So number one problem is that you are limited by your hardware or the size of graphics card memory. So in my experience, you should start from the smallest model. So in this code, I've got DeepSeek R1 2 billion parameters model. Then the larger one is Gamma 3 and then Phi. So I think if I show it to you here, it will be better. So you can see here, I've got a couple of models and each has a size. And the larger the model, it will require basically more memory from the graphics card. So that's one thing. In short, you need to start, it's better you start with a smaller model, especially if you have a 4 GB or 6 or 8 GB graphics card. Okay, that's one thing. Number two, there's something called temperature in the world of LLMs. Temperature here means the amount of freedom to be creative. So in my case, I want my model to be quite restrictive. I don't want any output which is like creative. I just want to be relevant, very, very strictly relevant. So you can set this from 0 to 1. I just set it to zero point 0.1, the lowest acceptable. That's other thing. And one more thing that you can experiment if you go to this script here, LLM interaction. So in there, there's the prompt I'm giving to the model that you are a data analyst and blah blah. So try to experiment with this. You can just add more criteria to fine tune the model output. I mean that's a trial and error thing, and that's the local API. I'm not going to any like foreign server. So it's running locally on my PC. My data remains confidential and private. So that's the other thing. And once you're comfortable with this whole setup, like I said, for example, in the beginning, you should use my provided sample data. So you are like comfortable. Okay. So once you're comfortable, you can go to interact script and in there, sorry, to data processing script. And in there, you can change the column names. Actually, I had to hard code to make it simple for myself. So if you are using some other file, so you need to change the column names, okay? And if you get stuck, either you can ask me or it's better you ask DeepSeek or ChatGPT. Those things can update the code for you. Just copy paste the code, in the ChatGPT window and tell them to update the column names according to your file. So that's the thing you will have to do. And lastly, you will go to main and then change the location of the file. So it's better you keep the file in the same directory. Just even in fact, use the same name actually. 1K line say use the same name for your data. So you don't have to change this one. Only change this portion here. All right. So that's all I think. It's pretty straightforward setup. Nothing fancy. If you want to break it down, these are like 3 steps. So thanks for watching and have a good day. Bye.